Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a fantastic start to that Friday. I know most of us are excited because it is Friday. At least I am. Can't speak for everyone, but I hope you guys have had a great week out there and having a fantastic start to your weekend. Got you some updated information on this ongoing winter storm out there for portions of the country. We'll give you kind of the update information as far as what they're talking about as far as snowfall totals, but of course, some of this has already fell out there. It's snowing for a lot of areas that we're expecting the snow, but we will run back through it one more time for you folks. And then by the time we get into this evening, this will be kind of trailing off. We'll be a non-story at that point. We'll talk about some action out west, and then we'll speak on the really cold air to follow this system in the east. Just for a couple days, though, we're looking at a big-time warm-up almost across the entire country as we get into next week. The entire pattern is going to change across not just the lower 48, but pretty much North America. So we'll speak on that as we get into the weekend, and we'll break down what I'm seeing going forward. If you're a winter weather fan and you really did not get anything from this pretty decent pattern that we just had, that of course brought the winter storm for areas of the south, and I don't have good news for you. I'll be straight up with you guys. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at things and see what it's looking like. But of course, we never get too far ahead. It's only January 19th, but we're never going to get too far ahead. I'm not going to try to tell you that February is a complete wash as far as winter weather across the country. That would be quite ridiculous in my opinion. There's some people that do try to forecast things like a month out, but we don't try to do that here. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it, and if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. And I will tell you, I'm going to be taking some breaks here in the next several evenings because things are kind of slowing down. Probably won't do a video, every single evening. I'm probably going to take a break sometime this weekend. And it's been so crazy the last 2 to 3 weeks that, I'm going to take advantage of this downtime coming up. But I don't think the weather's going to completely shut off or anything, folks. I'm already watching an upper level low in areas of the southern sections of the United States. It's going to bring a flooding risk, maybe even a severe weather risk. And I don't think winter weather's going to completely turn off for folks. I just think that for the majority of the country, you're going to get above average. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's get rocking and rolling. So you got the snow falling across the Ohio Valley. You even got some snow starting to kind of make its way back into Tennessee. I think Nashville will get some flakes flying around here in the next hour or so. This will probably make it all the way to the Cumberland Plateau. And then a pretty decent northwest flow event will kickstart as far south as the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. I think you guys could get a quick several inches of snow between now and, really tonight. And I think there will be snow continuing to fall even tomorrow morning. But, if you're picking this weekend to go to the mountains, if you want to take a spontaneous trip, I would definitely say do it this weekend because the next 2 weeks after that, I don't think it supports winter weather. Now, of course, the snow will hang around a little bit longer up there in the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains. But, in general, if you really want to see a winter wonderland, first of all, you bundle up. It's going to be downright frigid. But second, I think you'll be satisfied. So, if you want to bring the kids up to see some snow, I would go up, and you're in the Carolinas that did not get anything from this last event, I would go up towards Boone, Banner Elk. I really would. Not Asheville. I would go up towards Boone and Banner Elk, those places. That's just a suggestion. If you're really bummed out, kind of like I am, and want to go see the snow, I would head on up there. It's not too far a drive for my folks in the Carolinas. I am rambling really bad this morning, but here we are. You know how I do. But then we got the system out west. This is a warmer system, but snow in the higher elevations, rain, and no more ice storm action, really. But the snow is starting to get closer to New York City. Some of this is not hitting the ground, but it's been snowing around the D.C. and surrounding regions area this morning. Watch as warnings and advisories. Baltimore went from a winter weather advisory to a winter storm warning. We still got the winter storm warnings out for areas of New Jersey, even northern Delaware and places of Maryland. And then we continue to have the winter storm warnings for areas of the Appalachian Mountains, especially West Virginia. And then we still got the winter weather advisories, all the way down into sections of, Tennessee, even northern Alabama. I think some of this will get dropped. I think in the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee, I think it will hang around for a while. especially the northern section of the Cumberland Plateau, and definitely areas of the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee because of this northwest flow action. So let's break it down. Let's start off this morning. And first off, we will tell you, this is the radar out of Nashville. Here's the snow starting to creep in. You guys will get some snow within the next 30 to 45 minutes. It's snowing up the road here in Bowling Green. Looks like Franklin. Looks like some snow starting to move into Clarksville. So you guys still got snow on the ground in Nashville. Going to get a light dusting from this most likely. And then this will head into the eastern sections of Tennessee, where you guys will get a little bit of flake action a little bit later on this morning. This is moving pretty quick. So, by the time some of you folks are watching this will already be moving in. It's hard to see on Tropical Tidbits here on the HRRR model, but it will move in. And then we get into this afternoon. You can barely see it. I'm going to zoom into these regions right into here, but it's snowing pretty good in the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. Some rain showers are possible down in the peninsula of Florida. Could even get some storm action. It's very possible, and I just realized I did not even pull up my typical storm prediction center and excessive rainfall outlook, so my bad on that. But here we are. Storms are possible all the way into the Bahamas. Okay, and then we'll continue just to get the northwest flow event up here in the mountains that you can't really see. A lot of times this doesn't show up very well. But a closer look at this, and here we go. This is the latest HRRR model, and you can see the pinks and the blues up here in the mountains. This is getting into this morning. This really cranks up later this morning into this afternoon. And even though it don't look like a lot, this is really adding up in those higher elevations, especially like 2,500, 3,000 feet up or higher. And it's snowing like crazy up in West Virginia with this northwest flow event. But I think even Gatlinburg could get an inch, 2 inches of snow. And this continues, and even getting into this afternoon, this evening, you can continue to see some little bit of snow action in Southwest Virginia. Maybe even in extreme eastern Kentucky up here. And we only can go out about 18 hours, but you continue to see just some flake action later this evening. And I think this will last all the way through tomorrow morning. And, snowfall between now and just tomorrow morning. You see these kind of splotches of like purple and pink right here in the Smokies. That's pushing over 6 to 8 inches of snow. I think Boone will get a few inches of snow at minimum. And any snow that you guys got last night in West Virginia, you will continue to get more, another several inches of snow. And just to kind of zoom into a couple of these areas, and you look at the Cumberland Plateau, they're forecasting a dusting. But this was issued, about 6 a.m. Eastern time. Gatlinburg now back up to 1 to 2 inches. Greenville, maybe you could get 1 to 2 inches of snow. I think, Johnson City, the Tri-Cities region, good for about 1 to 2 inches of snow from this kind of back in flake action. I think it's just because there's an Arctic front that's already moving in, already kind of moved through these areas. So snow will have no issue accumulating in this area. So, they're saying that you could get a half an inch of snow out here kind of north and northwest of Knoxville. Could get a dusting of snow in Knoxville. You never know. But National Weather Service out of Virginia, Boone going for 3 to 4 inches of snow. And this was issued about 4:30 this morning. Another 1 to 2 inches of snow in Lewisburg, maybe an inch or less in Blacksburg. We'll see what happens. Bluefield, 3 to 4 inches. So. Up here in the Northeast, the winter storm is already getting going for these regions. Snowing for a good section of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, all the way down to D.C., Maryland. And you continue to keep this going, and then we get until about midday. It's still snowing back here in extreme eastern Ohio. Still some snow kind of wisping around in Michigan. Snow has gotten to the southern counties of New York, snowing in New York City and Long Island. Snow's creeping into southern New England at about midday. Snowing pretty good in New Jersey, especially the southern sections of New Jersey. Delaware, it's snowing. This could be your storm, even though it's not going to be some huge storm, but a pretty decent one at that. You keep this going, and snow will continue in D.C., and then this pulls out, and then we could get one last gasp with this storm later this evening. I think in like Delaware, the Delmarva, southern New Jersey, Philadelphia, southeast PA, and certainly some snow continuing to fall in Baltimore and D.C. Heads out of like New York City. By the time you get into this evening, the snow should be letting up in New York City. If you got any plans, it should look like a winter wonderland out there with a couple inches of snow. And then we get into this evening, and this is heading on off, and we're kind of dealt with a last little bit of snow shower activity. This could drift all the way into Virginia Beach, Norfolk region, and I would not be surprised at all, calling it right now, if we get some bay effect snow, some ocean effect snow that might get going here. It happens sometimes down here in like Norfolk, these regions down here. I think that we could get some kind of ocean enhanced snow down here. Right down here, I really think. I don't know if the locals are talking about it, but you look at this. We're getting into tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, And it really wants to try to just keep snow shower activity around this area tomorrow afternoon. It really does. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. So this area right down here might be a jackpot before it's all said and done. Snowfall between now and this evening. Like I said, this section down here could get a sneaky 1 to 2 inches of snow that's not being forecasted. I'm not saying you heard it here first or anything like that. So if you're like Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads region, I would watch tomorrow morning as the Arctic plunge really kind of surges down like from north to south. I really think this area could get something sneaky tomorrow morning. I do. But I mean, solid snow event for DC to Baltimore to Philly, couple inches in New York City. And we'll take a look at the latest snowfall forecast for these regions, and 3 to 4 inches of snow in Washington, DC, Baltimore. And this is just totals like throughout the entirety of this system. So, you know, this isn't like accounting, you know, adding on to what's already fell out here. Some of these areas have already gotten 1 to 2 inches of snow, but if they've really increased the total forecast snow for this event in general. I mean, Hagerstown's one that would, you know, they'd really dropped it, and they've increased it, going for 4 to 5 inches before it's all said and done in Baltimore. New Jersey, they've actually dropped it a little bit, but still going for about 4 to 6 inches of snow in Philadelphia. But look at my friends down here in Dover. It has really increased. 4 to 6 inches of snow now forecast in Dover. So this is turning into a bigger event for you folks. So New York City, just around 2 to 3 inches of snow. And that's the general theme in this region, especially Long Island, even less in southern New England. And then we'll talk about Buffalo, because you guys will continue to get a little bit of lake effect snow. Rochester, 4 to 6 inches of snow. Another 2 to 3 inches of snow is possible in Buffalo, but things are kind of simmering down out here for sure. South Central U.S., not much to speak on. Kind of a chilly day after warming up big time over the last couple of days. Nothing to speak on whatsoever. Not a drop of anything or flake of anything out here. Now, North Central U.S., really the big story is the lake effect snow. The UP and Michigan will get lake effect snow throughout the day. Some areas won't get as much as others, kind of the usual thing. But then this, you know, pretty intense lake effect snow riding down the spine, if you will, of Lake Michigan will continue to move into the far southwest counties of Michigan and northern and northwest Indiana, and we'll continue to see that pretty much throughout, I would say, at least the first half of the weekend. So snowfall between now and the next, well, I would say Sunday morning, several inches of snow in northern Indiana, southwest sections of Michigan, several inches of snow in the UP and Michigan, and then, of course, just a few more inches of snow here in Ohio. And then Cleveland could get several inches of snow. It's very possible. In fact, I don't know how much snow you guys have already got right now, but, you know, definitely another several inches of snow is possible out here. Western U.S., we'll take a look at what's going on. Some snow in the northern Rockies, so we'll get kind of a break today. And then we'll get some rain for California, pretty far south. My guy Ron down here in San Diego, you'll even get some rain probably sometime Saturday, I would say. Some light shower activity, but a system moves in on upper level low and really starts pumping in the moisture all weekend for California. So definitely looking like a rainy weekend for a good chunk of California. And here's the rainfall totals for this region. This is just precipitation. And I mean, between now and Sunday morning, a ½ inch of rain in San Diego is possible. You know, maybe more up into LA, certainly more in San Francisco. And if you look at snowfall with this, you know, going to add up the snow up here in the Sierra Nevada. It doesn't matter how warm the system is, you guys are still going to be high enough to get the snow. Temperatures today, man, this video is going to end before 20 minutes. That's wild. But here we are. Temperatures today, temperatures will actually drop in certain areas. But, you know, it's going to be another day in northern Alabama, a.k.a. Montana, where you guys are going to get below freezing. And, yeah, I mean, temperatures are going to drop. Everything is nothing's going to be able to melt again today. The only thing that could potentially melt is just the bright sunshine, but another very cold day. Temperatures will drop in these areas today, actually, with another blast of Arctic air. Cold day across the deep south, 30s and 40s for highs. Temperatures will probably drop in areas of Georgia and the Carolinas today, and you're locked into sub-freezing temperatures up here in the Northeast with a very cold day ahead tomorrow. And, of course, you're just into the Arctic tundra in the middle of the country. This Arctic blast is more positioned to the east, so you're warming up out west, big time. Above average temperatures for a lot of these areas, especially the Southwest. A nice day in the Southwest. I mean, Phoenix, you know, getting into deep into the 70s. So, last thing we'll talk about in this video, and We'll get you out early. It's Saturday morning, a very cold morning. Single digits again, back into the Mid-South. Single digits in the Ohio Valley, the Northeast. I mean, very cold morning, even east of the Apps, 20s and teens. And then these are highs for our Saturday. High temperatures, folks. I mean, it's going to be one of those days again in the Mid-South and even areas of the Deep South. I mean, Birmingham will struggle to get above freezing. And once again, you see how this Arctic air moderates east of the Appalachian Mountains. It's just unreal how it does this. It really is. Even with a more favorable position trough, it's still colder west of the Appalachian Mountains. And yes, I mean, I consider, even though it's technically southwest of the Appalachian Mountains, I consider Birmingham and these areas still west of the Appalachian Mountains, So it's just going to be cold. A freezing day for your Saturday. You're not going to warm up to something you would consider warm. A very cold day. But even east of the Apps, I mean, you'll struggle to get above freezing in Charlotte, Raleigh, and Greensboro, the Winston-Salem area. And it'll be a very cold day in North Florida. And then you get morning lows Sunday morning. I mean, some areas and the Ohio Valley and the Mid-South will not get, will get all the way below zero. So a very cold morning for sure. So, and then we, warm up a little bit for our Sunday. And then we go forward, and these are high temperatures getting into Monday. You're starting to really thaw out. You're getting into Tuesday, and you're getting into Wednesday. And I mean, by Wednesday, folks, you're getting into the 70s. Rapid melt going on. So big warm up coming. We'll talk more on that this weekend. But man, knock that video out in less than 20 minutes. Y'all have an awesome Friday, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless.